Today I would like to share my 1 year long-term review of using Penfold Pensions as a freelancer in the UK. So far my experience has been very good, but I'd like to give you guys a little bit more detail in case you are considering starting a pension with these guys.
I love you like la 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 la.
What's up guys, my name is George. I'm a freelance video marketer based in the north of England. On this channel I share content all around tech, filmmaking and freelancing, so if that is your vibe, hit subscribe and welcome to the channel. Full disclaimer before this video gets started, I am obviously not a financial advisor. I only started becoming semi-financially literate in the last couple of years as I became self-employed and went freelance. Then I started learning a bit more about managing my money, how money sort of works in general, and started taking things like pensions and savings a lot more seriously. So today I would like to share a bit of information with you guys about using Penfold Pensions, my overall review of it, and hopefully it can clear up any unanswered questions that you might have. I have had a pension account with Penfold Pension since October 2019, so just over a year as it's currently November 2020. During the time that I've had an account with Penfold Pensions, I was actually an Android beta tester for their app when I had my Google Pixel. And then since then I've swapped onto iOS and I've used the iOS app as well, which is now fully launched and it's fully functional and it's fully sick. Like genuinely, straight off the bat, if you're self-employed or freelancer in the UK and you're considering getting a pension, taking that sort of thing more seriously, which you definitely should, I recommend it straight off the bat. So while you're watching this, feel free to pause, go download it, make an account, and then we can follow along and you can learn a little bit more about how the app works. It's genuinely no strings attached when you first start up, and you can transfer your old pension pot over into your Penfold pension with literally a couple of clicks. I'm making this video mainly because I'm a freelancer and I like what Penfold are doing for freelancers. In the Western economy, and more specifically in the UK, which I have more relation to, obviously because I live here, it's been really good to see that a company like Penfold are taking the self-employed and the freelance seriously and putting in some bedrock software, which will then help us develop more financial stability as we get older, because we don't have an employer who sort of matches our pension scheme, and trying to use old brick and mortar banks or different pension funds for our savings really isn't a very advantageous situation to be in. So Penfold have done something very unique in the way that they invest your pensions and the overall user interface that helps us have a better understanding of how our money has been invested and how that growth takes place over time. While Penfold's primary market is the self-employed and freelance community, you can also have an account with them if you're in full-time employment or part-time employment. All you have to do is set up an account and then speak to your employer, and then have the pensions from your wages be invested into Penfold. Or you'll be able to work out something else with your employer to be able to reroute your funds into your Penfold account. Just for a bit of context, at the moment I am 25 years old and I've been freelancing for just under 2 years and only had a pension with Penfold for the last year. Before that I had a pension from an old job, which was like a part-time job, and it was the only one that gave me a pension for some reason, and I had that pension with them, which was with Nest, I believe is what they were called, and it was a pretty bad pension, and the overall interface with the website and the company in general was completely useless. So when I started looking at them, I started thinking, is this really where I want my money to be looked after? No, it isn't. As soon as I started searching things like that, I started getting Facebook ads and Instagram ads for Penfold, and that's when I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna give it a go and see what it's like. It's quite easy when you're in your early and mid-20s and you're not in full-time employment where an employer is taking care of your pension and savings for you, that you might just think, oh well, all the money I make, I'll just sort of, use it on rent and bills and spending in general, and you never really think about where am I saving, or when should I save and how much should I save. That's one thing that Penfold makes very easy for you, because they show you just how easy it is to save money and just how little you have to save each month to make a pension pot that's worth growing. Let's now take a look at the Penfold app so you can see what the interface is like and what the benefits are of using this app over having another pension if you're self-employed or freelance in the UK. So when you pop into the Penfold app, it will actually use biometric authorization, so whether you've got a fingerprint scanner on your phone or your Face ID, or you can have a passcode that you normally would just use everything. I've only just completed my first year of savings with these guys, and my current year's savings is £50 a month every month. Earlier this year during COVID, I did actually drop it down to I think a tenner a month, or even like £5 a month, because it was just, my pension was not my priority when, all the money dried up and the UK government wasn't supporting the self-employed, because the UK government. The interface, as you can see, is very contemporary and it's very up to date with how apps in general look in 2020. And it makes things very, very easy to navigate. At the very, very top, you can see what my pension pot currently is and then what I've gained/lost, which I'm currently up by 3.29%, which is nice because sometimes that does go down because you are investing in the stock market. So just below this, we can see we have our growth profile, which is on level 3, and our payment details, which is, as I said, £50 every month. And that works out as the yearly goal of £600 a month because 12 times 50 is £600. That's what I'm investing annually. One of the key reasons that Penfold stood out to me as a self-employed person is the fact that being self-employed, you do not have an employer matching your pension contributions. So what Penfold do is offer a government tax bonus on everything you invest. So for every £100 you invest, the government invests another £25 for you. So it's a 25% kickback on all of your contributions. A good way to see the track record of this is at the top here, we have this little drop down arrow and we can see all of our contributions. The government tax bonuses tend to be a little bit delayed because they have to then be processed before they get deposited. But you can see here that I have down my contribution of £50 and then I have a tax bonus processing saying expected late November for £12.50. So that's 25% of £50. Every time I invest £50, I'm actually investing £62.50, which is awesome. That's really good to know because even when you have to be conservative and you only save, like say, a tenner a month, if times are a bit tough, then at least you're actually getting £12.50 a month, which is still not an awful lot of money to be investing, but over time that adds up. Here we notice our growth profile, which I'm on level 3, and this is how Penfold differentiates different attitudes towards saving. So if you are earlier on in your pension saving career, you might want to invest in more high risk things such as stocks, which are more likely to fluctuate up and down but have a higher chance for higher gains. Whereas if you're a little bit later in your pension career and you want to have a little bit more stability, you might invest more in things like government bonds, which have overall lower returns, but they play a bit safer. So we can go into our growth profile and we can tap and see what we've got. If we go into the standard, number 1 is, as you see below, retiring in the next 5 years, low and stable growth. Number 2 is a little bit higher risk with a bit more time until you're retiring. Number 3, which is what I'm currently on, is more than 10 years from retiring, mostly looking for long-term growth, okay with larger dips to get larger gains. And then number 4 is pretty far away from retiring and also quite high risk. I was on number 4 for a little bit, but I just started seeing negative gains, which wasn't super comforting in the early 2020 times. So I went on to number 3 because I still want to be pretty high risk, but not, I'm not going absolutely nuts here. What I really like about this is the fact that I can change my risk level at any point on month to month, which I have done in the past. You can change the amount you deposit each month and you can change your risk level each month, which is so much functionality and it's literally 2 taps away on your phone. So if you suddenly change your mind and think, I want to be a bit more conservative at the moment and be a bit safer with my investments, boom, you can literally do it. You don't have to go on any crazy login or get in touch with your employer or anything like that. It's super simple and straightforward. Below this, we actually have our sustainable option, which is actually fairly new to the app. I had considered doing this video a little while ago, but I spoke to Penfold and they mentioned they were going to have a few new features rolling out. So I thought I'll hold off until all these features are fully set on the iOS app. Unsustainable, essentially what we have here is investing in more sustainable companies, sustainable businesses, so that you know your money has been responsibly used in sustainable things that you believe in. We can see here that this works out as pretty similar to the level 3 growth plan, which is, mainly in stocks with about 38% going into bonds. But then it says underneath which industries receive the money. This plan is new, so we don't have any data to show here at the moment. That is the only reason why I'm not currently on the sustainable plan, because I was originally going to jump ship onto it immediately, but I thought I'll just wait a little bit until they roll that out. I'm assuming that's going to be by the end of this year, if not early 2021. Then we can see here geographically where our money is being invested, with the majority being in North America and then the second most being in the UK. This says here under the risk and reward level that actually works out as a level 5 compared to my current level 3. Then beneath the sustainable plan, we also have the Sharia plan. This only invests in industries that comply with Islamic religious law. We can see here that the Sharia plan invests in 100% stocks, mainly in IT, healthcare, communications and consumer industries, mainly investing in the US again, and a little bit more in Asia and a bit more in Europe and not as much in the UK. So if that's something that's important to you, if you are of the Muslim faith, they've got you covered. Penfold have you very nicely covered. One of the key features on the Penfold app, which I'm going to go into more detail in a future video, under the menu we have our calculator. And under this calculator, we can calculate just how much money we would earn over time. I highly recommend you use this feature and put in your actual information because it will inspire you just how much you'll be able to save with not much every month using Penfold. There's a link in the description below, and when you use that link, you'll get £25 into your pension pot. I'll also get a small kickback for you doing so. As a quick ballpark here, if you're 25 and say you're earning 18,000 a year, which is a pretty standard starting salary in the UK if you're sort of in your early adulthood working at a normal sized company like 18,000 to 21,000 a year. Then you have a current pension pot of £1,000. Then what Penfold does is give us a brief breakdown of everything we've saved, including our own contributions, the government kickbacks, and then Einstein money. Einstein money I'm going to go into more detail on a future video, which is essentially compound interest, which if you don't know much about compound interest, be sure to check out that video. It will be linked below. That is it from me today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As I said before, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial expert in any way. I'm just a techie freelancer who would like to share the benefits I've found out there in the tech world with any of you who might need it. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like this video, drop any comments, questions, or anything down below. And remember to subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I'm out.